Woo! What's going on, guys? Owens Forum coming at you guys today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Lions training camp. Still going on, obviously. I believe this is day 10. We had a day off yesterday. We had to fly out to New York City. We were playing the New York Giants for joint practice 2024. The Lions, lots of fights going on, facing against the Giants. A little bit crazy, too physical. Never too physical, but a little bit too wild going on with these practices. Too many fights, guys. But thanks to guys like John Macaron, Tim Twentyman, Jeff Risdon, Colton Pouncey. Got some stuff from him today. Jeremy Reisman, Justin Rogers, Eric Schlitt. I use mostly John Macaron today for all this info here. There wasn't a lot going on. Well, there's a lot going on, but there wasn't a lot of info put out today. Mainly I went to John because he's right into that stuff, and if it's not for those guys, I wouldn't be able to get this information out to you guys. So those guys get all the credit. I took some tidbits here and there from guys like Risdon, 20-min and stuff like that, Schlitt, but it was mainly John today, and thanks to him and all the boys. But some injuries going on, guys coming back. In-game scrimmage, they're doing the 7-on-7 drills, the 1-on-1s. They're doing all kinds of team drills. They're doing everything that's going on. There were some injuries today, but first let's get to Laporta. Laporta sat out this one. I think he's sitting out tomorrow as well too. Dan Campbell saying something popped up with a little bit of an injury, nothing serious. We're just going to sit him out and don't expect him to play on Thursday night, which I never expected him to play anyways because Campbell loves to sit his starters, and I think that's a smart thing to do. Who came back? Offensive guard Coyote Awosika kind of needed some more, some more guard depth. Where guards are dropping like flies in Detroit right now. He did return. Don't know what his injury was. Never really found out. But he did return, and he was running with the second team mostly today. And a couple guys did get hurt. Rookie cornerback Terrion Arnold out of Alabama did get a concussion. No, it wasn't in a fight. And there was a lot of those. It was kind of on a swing. I didn't see the play itself, but there was a play. Apparently, it was a left tackle, Andrew Thomas, who's a pretty good one for the Giants. I think it was on a sweep or whatever it was. Took on Terrion Arnold, hit him, boom. Didn't see the play though, but concussion protocol must have rung his bell pretty good. And a lot of people upset with Andrew Thomas because he didn't have the Guardian caps on. Now, just to let you guys know a little bit with the rules with those Guardian caps. They are mandatory during camp, but only if you have a helmet that doesn't pass protocol. I don't know what the testing is. I don't know what they do, but there's like 5 or 6 different brands that the players can use, and 5 of those, 6 of those, whatever it is, pass protocol. And obviously Andrew Thomas had one of those, so he didn't need to wear the Guardian cap. He could have if he wanted to. He could have if he wanted to, but he didn't need to. There's guys out there without the Guardian caps on. Not everybody has them on. And then offensive guard, another starter, Kevin Zeitler, got a shoulder injury. That seems to be a little more concerning to me right now. Haven't heard much about it. Don't know the extent of it. He's a little bit older guy, 34, 35 years old. We just lost Mutai to a shoulder injury. Everyone's like, oh, it's not that big. Done for the year. Now, I'm not saying Zeitler is. That'd be massive if it was, because it was a pretty big signing by the Lions and Brad Holmes. Keep an eye on that. We'll know more about that. And interesting enough, Michael Neese, kind of the backup center, came in and filled in for him at guard, which was a little bit weird. Nobody, they got Ike Botker out there. They got Coyote Awosika, who just came back, so maybe he's just trying to get his feet wet for missing 2-3 days. And then Ike Botker too, like I said, which is interesting enough, but we just kind of brought him in as well too. So, but Michael Neese came in and started. I was kind of surprised maybe it wasn't Sorsdal. Wasn't Colby Sorsdal, but I think they're really trying to get him locked into tackle. But even though he has been taking guard reps. But anyways, man, some guys hurt, some concerns. Arnold doesn't seem too bad. I think the more Zeitler one seems a little bit concerning to me anyways. But we'll know more tomorrow. But anyways, man, to the fights, there was a lot of fights going on, guys. 8 fights in total, apparently, from what I was reading on the reports. St. Brown get into it, J-Mo, Sewell, some guy jumping right on top of Sewell's back, a little corner from the New York Giants. And he literally looked like a child on his back. And that's a little bit dangerous too, jumping on someone's back. It's kind of stupid on that New York Giants guy. And then St. Brown getting into it. He caught a pass. Someone knocked the ball out of his hand. He pushed somebody. Another push here and there. Next thing you know, you don't see St. Brown in a pile. He's gone. And then you see his helmet kind of rolling away. And it's just like fights everywhere. There was all kinds of fights everywhere, man. Levi and Onwuzurike got into it with a couple Giants too as well. After he slapped the ball to Daniel Jones's hand, Brian Daboll, the Giants head coach, going after Levi and Onwuzurike because he almost hit his hand, the Daniel Jones hand. It was just chaos. And then guys like Maurice Norris, who was trying to make a name for himself, who had a very good day today, lit up Eric Gray, the New York Giants kind of second, third string backup, like running back, and that started a brawl as well too. So 8 fights, and I know guys like Brian Daboll is trying to get his guys going, trying to get his guys up. He's on the bubble. That's a bubble coach. One more losing season, he's probably getting fired. And the guys like Dan Campbell, I know he's not putting up with stuff like this, man. That's not what he wants to see. You guys kind of know what Dan Campbell is, a little bit of a meathead, but he's not as stupid as people think he is. I don't think he's dumb at all, to tell you the truth, to be honest with you. People just think he's some type of meathead. He's got those tendencies 100%, but he is 100% football all the time. And people think he's dumb, and he's not. There's no way that he just wants to see fights. They got to get shit done here. They got to get stuff done here. And 9 fights, whatever it was, man, that's a lot of time taken off the clock, because these guys can only practice for so long. This isn't the 80s and the 90s anymore. This is all different. You can't just practice for 4 or 5 hours. You can't do that. These guys are time consumed, and just eight fights. That's just that's eating into your play calling. That's eating into your meetings or whatever you're doing on the field. It's not good. So Dan Campbell, I guarantee you, was not happy about that, and he will let people go. I'm not saying anybody's getting let go. I'm just saying, get it together. Get it together. Now the offense, Goff finding wide receiver Darius Fountain for a touchdown on 7-on-7s. He continues to work with the ones. Darius Fountain, man, he's putting in the work. He's getting the recognition. Dan Campbell coming out saying he needs to see more from guys like Antoine Green and especially Donovan Peoples-Jones. I still think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to be no worse than wide receiver 5 in his team. I can't see them getting rid of him. He's super cheap, like a couple $1 million, and he's had some success a little bit as a Cleveland Brown. But Fountain is kind of, he's, it's not in stone, it's not in ink that he is 1 through 4 here, but he's just outplaying, the guys that we thought were going to be better. And, guys like Antoine Green and guys like DPJ, man, they need to step it up. J-Mo had a touchdown on a red zone drill. Goff did get picked off by linebacker Bobby Okereke. Looked like good defense. They did show some video of it. Goff was checking off guys, man. He saw nothing that he liked. Looked like he kind of forced something in there. Forced it in a Bobby with the nice pick. Goff did find J-Mo though on a couple deep passes. One was a touchdown. J-Mo had a very good day. Montgomery looked strong, won in the football. You like to hear that. O-line was blocking well, but newcomer for the New York Giants, Brian Burns, who was an ex-Carolina Panther, made his presence felt on the day, man. He got into the Lions' backfield on more than a few occasions, and he made some plays. Now the Lions secondary, they struggled a little bit, guys. Quarterback Daniel Jones, you guys know who quarterback Daniel Jones is nothing special. Trust me, man. I am a Giants fan too. If you didn't know, I do follow the Giants, just not like I do the Lions. My number one team is Detroit, but I am a Giants fan going way back to Lawrence Taylor, one of my favorite football players ever to grace the field besides Barry Sanders. Just one of my favorites, and I became a Giants fan because of him. And then I became a Lions fan because of my father, Barry Sanders, living close to Detroit. I literally live 15 minutes away from Detroit. I am Canadian. I'm right on the border. But guys like, Daniel Jones, man, he is not a good quarterback, and he had a solid day. He had a pretty solid day versus the Detroit Lions secondary. Now, again, you can't touch the quarterback. You can't go near him too much. Some of these guys are going all out. Some of these guys are not. But the secondary did struggle. They did struggle against the New York Giants, man. So, rookie Malik Neighbors apparently had a day. He was doing, according to John McEnroe, he was doing whatever he wanted. Whatever he was doing, he got it done without too much interference from the Lions secondary. Don't like hearing that. But Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, those Giants wide receivers, they all had a couple big days today, and it wasn't a total annihilation, but the Lions secondary struggled. Now, Neighbors, there's a video of this one too. It was a long throw. Didn't look like it was a touchdown, but it was a long throw. Decent coverage by Melifonwu, actually. Decent coverage by Melifonwu. He was kind of on him, a little bit behind him. His back was towards him. He never got a chance to turn his head around. But Neighbors kind of mossed him, went over top of him, took the ball back, kind of landed. Looked like he got both feet in. At first I thought he got his left foot out. But if you look at the video from a couple different angles, he got his feet in. But it looked like he was bobbling the football. I think if it would have went upstairs, to the booth, it would have been ruled incomplete. Referee called it incomplete on the field though. But if it would have went upstairs, I think it would have been confirmed. But it was a great play by Neighbors. And then Darius Slayton, he ended up beating Carlton Davis. It looked like it was kind of on a crossing route. He blew right by Carlton Davis, and he had kind of Kirby Joseph trailing him. He just walked in for a touchdown. And then Jalen Hyatt, I never seen that one. Apparently he had a couple big catches as well. And then, more news about Iffy. Melifonwu was apparently maybe going to be taking some nickel cornerback snaps, some reps. They're going to have to try to find a way to get him on the field because, he played very well down the stretch for the Detroit Lions last year. We've been waiting a little bit for Iffy, man, with a couple injury-riddled seasons. And then he kind of came on late last year, man. He was making plays. He was sacking the quarterback. He was intercepting the ball, creating turnovers, big tackles. He was doing everything. He was looking like the guy that we drafted in the third round 3-4 years ago. So this is a guy that they're trying to get on the field as much as they can. He was drafted as, I believe it was Syracuse. I think he was a Syracuse guy, as a corner. He was drafted as a corner. He was moved to safety, back to corner, back to safety, back and forth, boom, boom, boom. They're trying to find reps for this guy, man, because he is a playmaker. He really is, man, and he's a big kid too. So they got to get him on the field, and Campbell kind of saying, we got to get him on the field, so we're going to try him probably at some nickel. So that's okay. And then, the Giants, like more to that, the wide receiver stuff, Giants beat writer, I forget what her name was, Patricia something, man. She had Jones going 12 of 17 in team drills and 7 of 8 and 7-on-7s. It was almost picked off by Carlton Davis right off the jump. Carlton Davis jumped the route. He got his hands on a football, but didn't make the INT. He needs to make those plays. And then she was saying stuff like the Giants were consistently getting open, consistently beating the Lions secondary. I can't tell you if that's true or not. I'm assuming it is. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you that J-Mo's doing well. Hey, that Lions secondary, they struggled, And then I kind of asked John about it on his page on Detroit Lions Lowdown on Facebook. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, they were consistent. He's like Neighbors was having a day. And the Lions struggled. They just struggled against them. So secondary needs to be better. But again, like I said, there's no touching the quarterback, no getting to the quarterback. So it makes it a little easier, but I'm not making any excuses. And then Hendon Hooker news. He was playing with the third team while Nate Sudfeld was running with the twos. Very limited work. I guess they were doing like 2 reps each, getting out of there. 2 reps each, getting out of there. So like 2 reps at a time. Hooker, man, he lost the ball at one point apparently. He had a scramble. He was attempting to throw the ball, slipped out of his hands. Don't know who the defense or offense recovered it, but I'm assuming because they're saying he lost the ball, so probably lost the ball to the defense. He's got to be really careful. He's probably got some jitters going on. And then, like I said earlier, DPJ and wide receiver Traquan Smith running with the threes as well. Sudfeld on the second team, man, he was up and down as well. He did throw a pick, and he's several incompletions of the day. And I'm going to end it off with some red zone stuff here, guys. Red zone finish. Detroit defense, Davenport, you almost getting to Daniel Jones for a sack, forcing incompletion. Davenport's been making a name for himself. Then Goff to J-Mo on a 20-yard touchdown to red zone. Monty had a nice short gain. Then Goff had a couple more completions to kind of end that first team. And then rookie running back, Sione Vaikai, had a touchdown. Sudfeld was sacked the play prior, though. And then Hooker, man, he did rush for a touchdown. One good thing he can do is he can use his legs, and that's what we like to see too. Then he did overshoot undrafted free agent wide receiver Jaylon Calhoun. And then I didn't really get a lot of stuff after that, guys. There wasn't a lot of news. Most of it was from John Macaron, like I said. Some tidbits here and there from other outlets, from like Schlitt and guys like that. But there's a little bit of a shorter one. And they got day 2 coming up tomorrow. But day 1 of joint practices wrapped up. Day 2 will be tomorrow. But thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in, listening to some Detroit Lions news. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Detroit Lions, Detroit versus everybody. Grit, one pride. Let's go, baby.